Gaming laptops seem to have a reputation for being big, chunky beasts that just aren't very portable at all. And while HP's latest Omen 15 isn't necessarily going to change that, it's serving the right sort of balance between something that's relatively affordable and something that you can genuinely use as a laptop. And it's a good looking unit, with the 15-inch form factor clearly taking a gaming-esque theme, but it's one that I rather like. Despite the hefty 2.7 kilos of weight though, it's not the most premium feeling notebook, with the extensive use of plastics falling behind some more expensive rivals. It doesn't really bother me though, as it's very solidly put together, and it does really represent what you'd expect to find from a mid-range laptop. Now I've been using this for just over a month, and while there's definitely a lot to like, there's a few observations I think I really do need to make. On a positive note, the keyboard is excellent, with a perfect amount of travel for my liking, and I found typing to be really satisfactory. The keys are easy enough to read in low light too, thanks to the red backlight, though it's not RGB like you'll find on some rivals. It's not the absolute best keyboard I've ever used, but for a laptop it really is marvellous. Unfortunately though, the same can't be said with a trackpad, and it really does let it down. Unlike laptops from Dell and Acer, you won't find a Microsoft Precision trackpad here, and it's a really costly decision. Tracking is smooth, but it just feels a bit laggy and inaccurate. I mean, to be clear, it's fine for a gaming laptop that you'll probably use a mouse straight away anyway, but it's really something that HP do need to start paying more attention to. Now obviously the specification of the unit will depend on the exact SKU that you go for. The one I've got here is the most high-end model, which means that it is very expensive, but it's pretty much got all the bells and whistles. It features a GTX 1060 Max-Q GPU, an i7-7700HQ processor, 8GB of RAM and an M.2 PCIe SSD. The processor is definitely coming to the end of its life, as the upcoming 8700HQ is likely to have 6 cores rather than 4, but for gaming it's probably not likely to be a huge deal. Touching on the memory for a second, the high-end models should actually come with 16GB as standard, so I'm a tad puzzled why this unit doesn't and only has 8. But it does go to show that in a lot of games the extra RAM won't help anyway, but for productivity and really intensive games like Battlefield 1, the extra memory really will be useful. As far as I/O is concerned, you get 3 USB 3 ports, mini DisplayPort, HDMI, Gigabit Ethernet and a USB Type-C with Thunderbolt. There's also a SD card reader on the right, and headphone and microphone jacks on the left. Now if the Omen 15 ever had an ace up its sleeve, then it's going to be with the display, because it looks like all models get an IPS screen for better colour accuracy and viewing angles, but the top 2 tiers get 120Hz of refresh rate, and the one I've got even has G-Sync technology as well. The end result is that the matte display is great for general use and even better for gaming, with a 120Hz screen allowing for PUBG and XCOM 2 to feel that much smoother in operation. While it's not strictly necessary, G-Sync certainly can help too, as it will reduce the stutter and tearing you'll see in your games. Just don't expect miracles, because you'll still feel any sharp FPS dips. The only other real thing to note here is that there is a bit of ghosting present in fast-moving, contrasty action, but for a gaming notebook display, I really think it's at the top of its class. Speaking of gaming though, you probably want to know how this thing performs, and while it will of course depend on the exact model you go for, I really think you'll be impressed by the results. On my hardware, it's sort of the perfect pairing, as the GTX 1060 provides frame rates well above the 60fps mark in all but one title at high settings, and there's just loads of flexibility, as those wanting to get full use from the 120Hz display can lower intense titles down to medium, while slower paced titles can of course be ran at higher settings and still feel smooth thanks to the G-Sync technology. I think that perhaps the biggest compliment I can actually give to this, and to show you real world performance, is to say that I have managed to achieve a chicken dinner solo PUBG desert map on this laptop, even running on Wi-Fi as well, but maybe that's just player skill. Overall, I really do like the Omen 15. It's fairly portable despite its weight, and it's got the performance to match, with a great display that is going to do your games justice. The main thing I think you need to be cautious about is making sure you get the right spec, and then of course the other thing is price, because with gaming laptops things are changing so often, and the RRP actually means very little when it comes to real world pricing. If you can get this at a great price, then it does come recommended and it wins the Silver Award. If you have enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing for more great content just like this, but if you can leave a like on the video, I'm sure it will go down very nicely indeed. A massive thank you to HP for providing this review sample, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.